That'll be
All
great.
right. Are you ready to go over some of these comps that you've been working on? Get some feedback.
Yes, the last one I didn't get a chance to finish because it wasn't on Zillow, and I was like, oh, I need to check the county and all that, and so I didn't actually finish the last one.
Which one? Oh, this Tremont. You know what?
Yeah.
This one is a little tricky. So there's a northeast and a southeast. So let me make sure I adjust it. Tremont Ave Southeast, I think. Make sure. I don't think it's southeast. Maybe it's northeast.
Oh, that might have been part of it.
Oh,
I think in the address I have southwest.
Southwest. Oh, that's the one. That's the one. Yeah, it looks a little.
It was there. I just had to get more information.
Cookie cutter house. Okay.
And I got distracted, so I just didn't get a chance to come back to it. So we should start with one of the others.
Sure. Well, let's start all the way down towards the end of what you've been working on. So okay. I see, I mean, I can even look at your practice house at your house, right? If you want, just because this is a house that I have no clue about, Xenia, Ohio.
They're kind of cookie cutter houses, so it was a little bit cheating.
Well, no. I mean, you want to get comfortable, right? So it's nice when you start with something that you have an idea about. And so that'll be real good. Yeah. So I'm just looking across here. And here, maybe I'm going to share this screen so that anyone could see what I am working on. Okay. So we're working on this house here. Square footage there. You must be in an allotment. They're all the same square footage.
Yeah. I mean, well, I picked the houses. So they're Ryan homes.
Yeah. Okay. So they build them.
I picked the ones that have the same build as my own.
Yeah, perfect. And they're all super close to there. So they're all in that area. Bathrooms, fine. Lot sizes, since they're Ryan homes, they're all very similar in age, style, forced air, attached garages. Yeah, like same build.
That's why I said it's kind of cheating, but
yeah, no. But it should. So that just shows you that this can work. And when you do that, you're getting just real close numbers for the sale prices on all of them. And it looks like they were all sold here. Yeah. In the last 6 months, few months, even less than that. It looks like 3 months. So those are great comps. So I would say that's darn near spot on of what your value would be on your house. Does that surprise you?
It did surprise me because I'm pretty sure that the 233 is what I bought it for, just cool. like 3 years ago or something, right when COVID hit. So I was surprised that it already
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you, because of COVID, or at least with COVID happening then till now, values have gone up a great deal all over the place. So, and they're not really hurting here in Ohio, as in some other places where they're getting pushed down and they're coming down another 10%, 20%. Here, they're flattening out. And in some places, they're still even appreciating, because Ohio is affordable at the end of the day. So so spot on. That's I would say that's a great comp.
What's the difference in your sheet there for the as is? I know that's the kind of the column over to the right, and I didn't fill any of that out. So I just wondered, I didn't go obviously down, or I did do some of the additional comps on some of the others just because
trying to get an idea.
Yeah, and some things, and
good ones.
They're not. It's cookie cutter is what I had, so I was like, well, I don't know which one would be better to use. So I just put a couple of extras so I could talk to you about it.
For sure, yeah, and that's what I wanted to do as well, is just go over all that. So the as is value, this is more like if you were to find other properties in that area that have similar, like they need work or something, you might be able to do that. And that's the as is right now value, which it's a little harder to determine, because it's kind of like whatever anyone will pay for it is the as is value. So you're going to look at
something that's not built up. is what you're saying. Like something
Correct. It's
that would
not
be
fixed up.
pre-flip kind of thing. If you
Correct.
think about it. Okay. All right.
Yeah, pre-flip. Sometimes we might look at that, and some lenders might want to look at that. Whether it's a private lender or whether it's a company that's lending, they might look at that and get an as-is appraisal. So they might go and have an appraiser say, all right, what is this worth right now? If we were to put it on the market and sell it, what is it worth? Because they want to make sure that they're protected and that they've got certain loan to value percentages that they're going to lend on sometimes on the as-is value. But most type of lenders understand what we're doing. The ones when you pick them that are correct, they understand what we're doing. So they're going to look more at that ARV, the after repair value. And because they know they're lending you money to fix it up too. So they understand that whole thing. It's just sometimes some lenders will also get an as-is value in there. So it's just something where if you needed to do it, but for the most part, we rarely do it because we just want to get it as cheap as possible at the end of the day. So I would say practice house looks great. These are all very similar. Your price per square foot is very similar. So you could almost just take the average of all of those and figure out what your house could be worth, even if you did an addition onto that. So that's some ways of looking at that. Cool. So now we've got this Grant Street property. Yeah, so this one and Lawton are two properties that I'm looking to put under contract right now. And then the other ones are appraisal properties. So we can compare them to an appraiser. But let's take a look. So location, we're all within a mile. That's fine. Square footage, these are a little high, but not fine. Yep, you put some notes in there. That's cool. Yep, but they're all perfectly fine. Bedrooms, spot on. Bathrooms, sure. Perfectly fine. All very similar. Total rooms, yeah, that's fine. What is this Grant Street? Yeah, remember going in this one. So I've inspected it. It doesn't feel like 1,000 square foot home, but it is. Lot size, very similar. Age, sure. Yeah, fine enough. Within 10 years, that's go fine. Yeah, it's really, even if this were to creep up to 39, 49, 1949 or something, I mean, it's not that much difference. It's only when you start to get maybe in the 1800s, you go in the other way, that the foundations are a lot different. Or if you start to get more in the 70s and 80s, it's more of like a newer build. They might just build it a little differently. So
any other Cape Cods.
Yeah, and sometimes that's just hard. But bungalows are real similar to Cape Cods. Colonials are just, I assume, a little bit bigger. There's usually a little bit more space in the upstairs, and that's probably what we're seeing right here. But that's fine. Yep, and so we've got one that's got no AC and these that have AC. That's cool. They all have garages. This one's obviously just a little bit better. So we could, if anything, we could kind of highlight little things in here just to remind us as we go and compare the prices. Say this one's a little worse. You can almost say that these ones are a little bit better, or better. Said better. Clicked worse. So we can just kind of quickly see what's going on. Maybe we'd highlight this 2-bedroom or this 2-bathroom. Just this is kind of like what I'm looking at when I'm trying to compare all of these. Now they've all been, these ones were sold right at the cusp. That's fine. This was real fresh. So that's good. Oh, so this is the only thing that I would say is like real bad.
I know. That's what I was like. That's where it would go in the as is, right? Because it's not been updated.
I'm going to say that this one was not updated. Yeah.
That would go to the other column. And then I don't know if I did an extra one on this one. You could scroll over and you could just copy and paste that one.
Yeah.
All the way over.
Oh.
Yeah, I did do it.
Additional comp. So a 75,000. I wonder if 75,000, because that's a big range, 75 to 120. So it makes me wonder, like, is this property real, I mean, it's a little further away, but like, is this property one that's really done to the nines, or what's going on with this? Looks like it's nice from the outside. It's got windows, nice deck with a little bit of privacy in the back. Guess I'll make this bigger because why not? Yeah, it doesn't look super updated. I mean, like, that kitchen isn't brand new to this year type of thing. It looks clean. I mean, oh, let me scroll back up again. It's got gold on this. That's a little dated.
Yeah.
Yeah, gold on these fixtures. I mean, I don't know that someone would pick that, but the walls are all clean. The floors are all clean. There's no issues anywhere. And dated with the wallpaper. Yeah, and then look at this bathroom. And then 12 by 12 ceramic tiles, wallpaper. But the outside looks real crisp, real nice. Yeah, like I wouldn't mind that garage. Right? That's a clean, nice garage. Okay. So I would probably say that the fixed up value probably could go, if it was completely fixed up, a little bit higher than this, because these things aren't necessarily updated. So that's curious. Pull this over here. So makes me wonder what this guy is, 90,000. So just diving in a little bit deeper on each of these. Okay, again, looks nice on the outside. I think the roof looked a little older. It's a 3-tab shingle instead of an architectural shingle, but it looks in okay condition. Those windows look like they're little older windows right there with storms on them, but it's in okay condition. It's fine. That looks clean. That looks crisp. Okay. And it's a vacant house. So someone did something. That's an interesting backsplash. I've seen some people do like a peel and stick almost wallpaper on the backsplashes. Just curious. But yeah, it looks like they didn't do edging that matched. So they just kind of cut it off. That's fine. It's like just faster. This is probably left over, but somebody painted. Like this looks older. This part right there. But everything looks clean and fresh and functional.
This was the bungalow versus the colonial too.
And this kind of is, I don't know who just has a tub without a shower. So, but whatever. Clean backyard, clean basement. Almost looks like somebody purposefully flipped this to sell this, because whose basement when you move out ever looks that clean?
Right.
On every surface like that, not a chip in sight on the floor. Makes me think that it's a flipper that came in. And we could probably look at the history of this and be able to tell that. I'm not used to realtor.com as much. Here we go, property history. So it looks like, oh no, at least not if it wasn't if it's on market. So last time it sold was 1986 before it got fixed up and sold right then recently. So I don't know, unless someone bought it in a sneakier way. Seems like it's the homeowners. So, but that's interesting. Okay, so 90,000. Fairly clean, smaller house. So, yeah. This other guy, though, I don't know that this one, I'm just so curious with this one with a $75,000 price tag. That doesn't seem like it can be fixed up. Oh, and there's only one picture of this on here. That makes it harder. Two and a half car garage. I bet this was more of an as is type of sale. I bet this was they've owned it for a while. That's why I'm looking at the price history, and maybe it isn't fixed up. Actually, since 2000. Sorry. Yeah. So at least 23 years. They might have done something, but they've at least owned it for 23 years. So it's waiting for investors, someone to enjoy it as their own. Yeah. Without more pictures. And we've got different resources that we could use for pictures. So sometimes you'll get on a site like Privy or PropStream, different softwares that could do that. And if you have access to the MLS through a realtor, you could have them pull up the old pictures that were used in the listing. So that's always a way of getting access to that. Sometimes I'll just come on these other sites. So I'm just trying to do something that's free, really, for you to show that that is possible.
I like free.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Me too. I mean, that's the way to start. So here's some. So Redfin, is this the same house? Make sure we're 1169. It's not the same house. That's why. It's funny. I put the address in and I click on it, but sometimes they pull up different houses. I just didn't look very quickly. 89. I don't know why there's so many different ones on here. Let's see if they have our house. 89. Oh, this is a look up the value, look up who owns it, skip trace them. Isn't it crazy all the information that's available just readily? Like search your house, search your name, and you might not like what you find.
Right.
It's just who wants all that information out there?
Yeah.
So that's not so cool. So it looks like, yeah, there's just this one picture, but it has updated windows. It's got architectural shingles. The outside looks nice. I guess I'm a little surprised. So we don't have any interior pictures, so that kind of sucks. So I would try to get a different one, because if we were going to go and ask for funding, number one, we would take that 75, and I'm just going to overwrite this for a second. But it's going to take our value. It's averaging those now, but that's a huge split. Like percentage wise, it's a huge split. And this one we saw, it wasn't even completely updated, right? There was some of those things in there. So I would say just trying to find something else, trying to get rid of this one at least, and try and find something if it's in this type of range, or even towards this top end. And I wonder if our realtor has something on this. So this is Grant Street, Grant Comps. I'm just making a note, because we're actually working with a realtor on this one. So when you are, the beautiful thing is you can just ask your realtor, hey, can you give me comps? Or if you're working with a wholesaler, you can say, hey, give me your comps, and plug them in and see if they're legit comps. And if not, you can educate them on how to comp. Okay, let's take a look at this next one. Looks good, looks good, looks good. It's all close enough. This one's a little bit higher. This one, this one, this one, this one here. It's fine. Good, good, good. AC, no AC. I guess I'll just highlight some things. This is less, because then we can start to look at some of the things that are happening. Oh, so this is less and this is more, but this is a lot less.
Yeah.
And this is a lot more. And I'm going to take this formula and there we go. Copy it there. Yeah, it's a huge difference between them all.
I don't know if I did an extra one on that one either.
Yeah.
Oh, I did a bunch of them on this one.
A couple. All right. So
they're all low.
These are
116, I guess. Mercer Avenue.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they're a lot better than these two. Those are real low. Because the thing is, if someone has paid close to this, then, you know, that's what we're really pushing towards. That's where the value is going to be. I'm assuming that these are just needing work. Yeah, because if I recall on this one, I wonder if I can look up real quickly what the ARV. I'll look that up afterwards. What the ARV from the 37 line from the wholesaler was.
Well, even if you just use the last two over those two, it will look a lot better.
Yeah, for sure. So I would say we could pop these guys in there. So if we're taking 116, 104.8, 16, 104, we're pushing it more like 110 without doing proper math on it. So if we had 110, let's just assume that's what we pick. Oops, 110. Oh, and then so here's the thing is once we get the ARV value from that, we can kind of look at, all right, this one is less, this one is more, all those little details and pick what our ARV would be. This is our real estate ARV. This is what we're saying that it is going to be worth. And we might be a little conservative. We might err on the conservative side. If we're going out for funding, we might err on the expensive side and just say, oh no, ours is going to be better. Right. And, but because a lot of times we can get funding up to 60% of the value of the property without any money. We can get 100% funding up to 60% of the value. So that's what I tend to put into this because there's a good hard money lender that will do that. So this is just going to take the ARV and multiply it by 60% and say they will lend us 66 grand on that. So if we were to go and buy it, I think their ask is something like 38,000. We could get it for, I don't know, 34,000 or less. Comes down here, if that's our offer, 34,000, not knowing what our rehab amount is, and our all-in number, I think what pulls from that number, but so all together, that's 64,000. Whoops. And our hard money is at 66,000. So that would work. So we would be able to borrow up to 32,000 of this, which I don't know that I would really want to go too far above this. I like it's usually properties around here that are worth 100,000 that you buy them for 30 and you put 30 into them. So that's like a common 100, 30, 30 type of model, but all in 60%. I work with that because for one, we can get the money easily. We can get it fast. We can get all of that money. So it can come right towards us. And a lot of people might take their MAO, their maximum allowable offer, and they might calculate that normally at 70% minus repairs. Maybe sometimes people have been going up to 75%, but I don't like that at all because if we buy it at 60%, you know, that's really the key. You get it cheap in the beginning, as cheap as possible, and that's where you make money because gosh, anything can happen. Like What if you find a giant crack in the basement that needs a huge thing? What if there's an electrical oopsie doopsie somewhere? Those are expensive. What if, yeah, structural something? What if all of a sudden the price of properties around here drop by 10%? Those people that are putting offers in at 70 and 75% are screwed because they're not going to be able to refinance out and get their money back, because a lot of banks, funding sources, they will give you 70, 75% of the value of the property when you're refinancing it. So if we buy it all in at 60% and we've got a good day, no surprises happen, then we can go and get 70 or 75% of the value, pay for those refinance costs, and get money back. We could get a decent chunk of money, 10 grand back, and that's tax-free money because it's a loan, it's a liability, it's not income.
Gotcha.
Yeah, so that's what we really try to do.
Okay.
At the end of the
I think I lost you. Did you mute yourself? Or did I? Something happened with my.
Can you hear me? You
yes,
got me?
Now
okay. Yep. No clue. It's trying to give me a call, but yeah, so those are all decent numbers. I'm liking those numbers here. So I'm probably going to go look at this number, but I'd like to put those.
I did.
You already did it. Look at that. That's perfect. You're awesome. Okay. You're
I just didn't quite understand, but now that we're walking through it all, I'm like, oh, okay.
And that's exactly why I wanted to do this, is get any of your questions for things and show you exactly what we're trying to do. So like these ones here, these are even a little bit worse, right? Because they're smaller.
Yeah.
They're getting a higher amount. So it's saying just the average of all of those, we're at 112. So even if we said that we're at 112 on this one, that's nice. My realtor was telling me that the appraiser on this one, they had an appraiser friend, said that it would be worth, I don't know, I think they might have said, I don't know if it was 120. I don't know why 140 is my mind. 140 after everything that we've seen on this makes no sense. So maybe it's 120, but I'm going to definitely double check that and get that back, because it's good to have feed all this information back in and get some just good feedback, check our work. Like the fact that yours worked out so perfectly. Allotments are nice like that, or anything where it's in a common build, real nice, real easy to comp. So yeah, they're great properties. You can just feel more confident buying them without any question. These ones here, you really got to watch out, make sure you're not going over different streets and things, but yeah, everything looks perfectly fine. Look, that's even a bungalow. So that's a little worse, I would say. And this one has no AC, so that's a little worse. Our AC might not work, so whatever. But we're just looking at the end of the day, if everything was fixed up. So fixing it up would go into our rehab budget. The fact that this is a 2-car garage, that's just a little bit better. All of these dates are perfect. This is right in the heat of the interest rate that we're dealing with right now. So I believe those a lot. I believe those a real lot. So those are great. And you can just see this one's just worth more per square foot than this one. Maybe because a little bit of the siding, maybe because of the garage, but not because of the square footage. So maybe this one is fixed up a little bit better on the inside than this one if we were looking at every single thing. So it's starting to get us a good idea, but I like where this one is sitting at. I've got some good confidence in that one. All right, let's go over and let's get this one, because this is an interesting property and area. These all look, I mean, it's all close, within real close numbers.
I didn't know the ask and offer on that one, so I just left it.
Yeah, no worries. Yeah. Total rooms, lot size, age of the house. Perfect. This one has no AC. This one, interesting. I don't think it has AC, but it's listed with AC. I assume it's listed with AC.
I think so.
What you got? Yeah, no,
I mean,
don't
I
worry.
could have.
Don't worry. And a lot of times, yeah, you got to go with whatever you can. This is a house that was left abandoned for a while. It had squatters in it. Completely had to redo the furnace. A lot of the ductworks that were in there. A lot of the electric was just cut in the basement, like between rafters, so they could just pull it down and harvest the electric lines. So those are fun to patch together. Completely new
It
plumbing.
does say it on Zillow, it says AC, but
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I know there's not, but it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It's you'll end up having that. So part of it too is when you go to the house, it's nice when you have something like this because you can just confirm everything.
yes.
Does
Yeah.
it have this thing? Is there these many bedrooms? Because sometimes it'll say so many bedrooms, but I think I sent an email to you that mentioned all the different things that have to be included to be called a bedroom.
Yes.
So yeah, it's partly the height, having a closet, having a window. Because I recently went to this property where they said it was a bedroom, and it was basically I don't know if it would be a dining room. It was a separate room, but it was in the middle of the house, so there were no windows, there was no closet, and it looked dark, and it would just seem like a horrible room in general. But like it would be just terrible for a bedroom because there's no egress. What if something happens? That's not what we like to do and have. So, okay. All right. This is all high like that. And so taking the average of that would be good. Now I'm curious, for whatever reason, on this one, it came back low. So I'm looking, the appraisal on this one came in at 91,000. It's pretty low.
Yeah.
I almost wonder, I mean, garages, they can add maybe 15 grand, 10 grand for one car, 15 for a two car, but we're still a little bit off here. And this guy right here has no garage. It's right on the same street. It recently sold this month.
Yeah.
So I'm curious. I'm curious why that's so low. So what I might even do is take some of this work here and go and challenge the appraisal. Have you ever heard of that happening?
No.
So when you get an appraiser, they give like 6 comps and then they say, this is what it's valued at because here's the comps for it and everything. But then if you disagree, like maybe they were pulling a lot of 3 bedrooms, or maybe they were pulling different ones like that. And you're like, okay, this doesn't match. Right. Or if they pulled lots that had garages and then they just deducted, it's better to have perfect matches for things, but this seems fine. So I wonder what they're seeing in there. Because I know this one, we refinished all the hardwoods in the place, brand new carpet, brand new paint. The kitchen, we didn't do completely updated, but it looked fine. It seems like a big difference. So anyway, I'm going to make a note of challenge the appraisal. And the one thing that I'll tell you about challenging appraisals and appraisers is appraisers hate it. It's almost like, yeah, but it's almost like a black mark on their record. It's just like not good. How many challenges have you had this year? That's kind of like one of their metrics that they have, because you want to be the authority at the end of the day, right?
Yeah.
So by almost just principle, they tend to just reject you. So a lot of times you'll have to give them lots of comps. And even if you do, they might say, nope, my comps are better. So thanks. Thanks, guys. They're not very open-minded. All right. Liberty. All real close, other than this guy. Yeah, small square footage, right? So finding those type, I don't know how easy that was. Sometimes it's not so
Yeah, that's
easy.
why I was like, I guess we could go 2 miles almost. That's
Yeah.
us, but it's hard.
Yeah. Ages are fine. Ranch, that's good for this one. Those have AC. This one doesn't, but I'm sure it said that it did. This one is actually a 2-car detached. Isn't it funny how information is just wrong?
Yeah.
Yep.
Wondered if I should check multiple sites. And I thought, well, probably after your quick review, maybe you do that before you actually sign anything.
So I'll always go look at it. For
Yeah.
sure. But one of the things we can do is, for instance, let's just pull that property up here just to see what it's showing. Liberty Street in Cuyahoga Falls. And I'll show you. I tend to look at first here because it's just easiest, right? It's just absolutely easiest. So we pull these things up. Cooling, central, absolutely, right? Garage, 1, attached, absolutely. Why would you think anything else? So then I might go down and check the auditor's site by that link, county website. Sometimes it doesn't always come up, but we were searching last time, whatever county and then auditor site. So in here, we can look through right here and it says central heating, gas, forced air. Where does it say cooling in here?
I thought that was the AC one, but I
Maybe it would say, oh, it says heating / AC central. Okay. I guess I would have to look another one. I mean, that seems like that could be central air, AC.
But in the
This says
Zillow, it
forced
said
air.
other instead of forced air. So I was like, I don't know exactly.
Oh, yeah, that's weird. Well, actually, for whatever it's worth, there's a forced air system and there's one baseboard heater. It looked like someone did an addition at some point. So it's mixed. Yeah. Sweet.
Okay.
Huh? So garage, though, that's showing here. Wonder if it showed up there. Garage. Detached garage. So here's where you could compare, but
That's right.
I'm looking to see, it doesn't even really show the size of the garage on here. So you wouldn't be able to know whether it's 1 car or not. It says 1 square foot. That's obviously not correct. So don't know if someone was trying to put a 1-car garage, but that's just not. And this is just the house. That's not the garage since it's detached.
So which one is more accurate? This versus the Zillow or whatever? You don't even know. It's just hit or miss. So you see it yourself.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So if anything, you could just notice inconsistencies and then just raise a red flag saying, we're going to go look at that. But that's kind of all you can do. I'm looking if there's anything else in here. I think that's probably about it. Yeah. Yeah, that's all you could really tell from this. So that's the information for sure. This is actually a house that I got for nothing, $0.
Nice.
Yeah, the woman called me up and was just heard that I was buying houses and things. And she's like, oh, this one you're probably going to have to tear down. I'm like, I don't know about that, but what are you looking to get out of it? She's like, I just want someone to take it over. I'm like, well, I can look at it, but I bet I can do that. It was super moldy on the inside.
Oh.
There was water that was coming in. Someone didn't do the roof properly, so it was just moldy on the inside. So we had a lot of mold mitigation. But yeah, all those things that you were looking at, yeah, we wouldn't have been able to tell any of those differences. So, okay. So here we are. We got this, we got this, we got this.
Wide range again.
Wide range again. Yeah, this to this is obviously a real wide range. So
that was also farther away because I just could not find anything near it. Maybe if I took the 6-month filter out, but I thought that might be more important than.
Yeah, it's pretty important. Being that recent is pretty important.
I thought so based on our conversation, but I was like, well, I don't know.
Yeah. But the thing is that you just kind of have to see what you come up with. And when you see things that vary that much in your comps, you just got to keep looking, see if there's anything else that you're missing. That could be a possibility. Must have a garage. I'd really like it to. Max, we really don't want to go up a lot. Min, this is already the minimum for a house. Right? Must have AC, must have pool, city, sold and last. All right, so we can start with 6 months.
I wish they had the type in here, like colonial or ranch or whatever. They don't have that in the filter piece, but.
Yeah. And once we start to go on this side of that river, it's just, they can be slightly different.
Yeah, that's why I was like, well.
I mean, they're all Cuyahoga Falls, and this is where sometimes knowing the area helps a little bit, because Cuyahoga Falls is, people like it when they're just within the city limits. It's just this side is typically renters, this side is typically homeowners.
Oh.
Yeah. So these are all 2-bedroom, huh? So I clicked on exact match.
I know there was a little flukes of that too when I searched, but you can't, it doesn't do the exact match on the bathrooms for sure.
Yeah. Yeah. Right. So it's interesting. I'll have to. Here's a 2-bedroom, 2-bath. Man, and it sold for this with this type of carpet in here. And
I know I actually looked at that.
That like this kitchen. Are you kidding me?
But it still sold for way more than the other ones.
Sure
I forget why I didn't pull that one in though. I thought something was too different. Maybe the square, no, it wasn't the square footage. Bathroom, it had 2 bathrooms.
Yeah.
And it was a different style house too, I think.
And it looks like, just from this one, it looks like maybe it's a bigger yard. Yeah, I mean, in general, I don't know that this would be a great comp for it, because yeah, it's a different type. It's not a ranch. It's a Cape Cod or something. I don't know how they're getting just 1,000 square foot in there. That seems.
It is a big yard though compared to the rest of them.
Yeah. So maybe that's what it is, because the condition is definitely not fixed all up. And that's what we're typically looking for when we find these ARV houses, is we want something fixed up.
Nice. Yeah.
What is this 165 house? Okay. So this is your flipper house. Oh gosh, this is, you know how terrible it is? It almost looks like they've got a black and white camera picture, because that's what some flippers will do, is gray floors, gray, all this. And then they leave the wood doors in there so you can tell exactly that they didn't touch them. That's so dumb. Paint it white.
Yeah.
Just paint it white. Change this to a white one, do something, but it looks.
And that's pretty simple.
It's really pretty simple. But this is curious. Yeah, and they didn't touch that room, obviously. This is their staging.
They went all out.
One, yeah. Yeah. They hardly touched the basement. Okay. So this one has a basement where the other one didn't have a basement. That also is a big deal. Because wow, it looks like a tiny house on the outside, but then with all those pictures we went through, it doesn't even look like the same house.
It doesn't.
Look
I
at
don't
that
think I
little
looked at that
thing.
one though. It must have been too far or something didn't match because I don't recall looking at that one.
Goodness
Those are
gracious.
cool. I love pictures like that.
Yeah. Yeah. As an architect, I get pretty
I
happy with
love
stuff
them.
like this.
Yes.
Um,
It helps my brain understand the house.
yeah.
100%.
Yeah. And as someone who would live in the house to buy the house, I imagine this helps out a lot. But as a landlord and for yeah, any type of appraisal, it doesn't do a darn bit of good,
No,
unfortunately.
not for like the value, but to be
No.
able to see things, especially sometimes when they don't match correctly and you can kind of look at it like that.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, this ends up making a whole lot more sense when you're looking at it. And this seems like a good layout too. I
Yeah,
like this. I
cute
like
house.
this. This works for being such a tiny house. Yeah. And a whole rec room in the basement. Okay. Wow. They're going all out. Oh my gosh. Drone footage. Okay. Anyway,
Paul has a drone.
that's fun.
He loves it.
So people really loved this house, I guess, to pay that much money for it. Holy smokes.
Yeah. Where is that? Is
Surprised.
that far away? Oh, yeah. I thought it was
This,
drastically different. So I was like, oh, I don't know if I should use that one.
it shouldn't be far away from ours. I think our house is right in this area. So it should be pretty close, but it just seems way grossly different. Just
That's what I
like,
was. Yeah.
yeah.
I pulled the 145 one in that's down below on the same side of the river. But
Okay. And even like here's a 2-1, real small. Seems like there are some around here. This one looks like this looks staged or lived in. Man, if someone lives in it,
they're super clean.
super clean. I don't know. Yeah, like who leaves their, I mean, maybe you did it for pictures that day. I get it. But it looks very, very,
Maybe like an
very
Airbnb.
nice. And then this room is empty. That makes me think it might be staged.
Yeah.
And then this is a real useful basement. So interesting. But see, that's why this whole thing is, it's not a science, but getting a lot of consistency in numbers is going to be
So in
important.
this case, it's probably it would probably have been better to get some of the higher dollar ones, even though it's a little bit further away. Because they still matched. Like I could have got those last two that you looked at versus the 90s ones.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's what you'd really do. And so if you start to go at it like pretend like you're trying to get money, and the higher dollars that you get from it, the more money you'll end up getting. So it's just, you don't want to push that limit. Like I can't even imagine what this $184,000 house is for. That's a 2-bedroom, 2-bath. Is it? Yeah. Under 1,000 square feet. I mean, the big bad wolf can't blow this down as easily, but like, come on. Right? It just, look, that's just, it's an old kitchen that was updated with linoleum floor.
It's for rent.
Yeah. And it's for rent right now, but it looks like it was recently sold. Sold just,
Okay.
yeah, for 183.5. I don't get that. And pending 149. So like they went up in price. This seems funky. And so whenever I see something like this and all of that, I'm going to think that that's an outlier, because you don't really see a lot of that. We see more in this, 120, 115, 130. I don't know about 175, 80, but I mean, you can't ignore them. So you kind of just got to take a look at these and wonder what the heck is going on. Like, this one looks a little cuter, but gosh, this kitchen, come on. So it's not always easy, right? And this looks like an older furnace too. So it's clean. But like, what is driving this value up so high? I think this area is just a decent area, and it's been appreciating in the last bit as well. So anyway, I think I bought this house back in November, and then wholesaled it to myself. So I bought it for $0, wholesaled it to myself for 30,000. Got a private lender on it, so got 30,000 plus another 34,000 to renovate it. So we're all in at 64,000. And I was conservatively estimating it was going to be in that $120,000 range for my
It
ARV.
probably is. Yeah, it probably is.
We just got the appraisal back, and it came in at 137.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Yeah. So that was a good surprise. And that's the thing, is you get good surprises and bad surprises with appraisals. It's a little bit of a anxiety provoking thing, when it really matters, right? At the end of the day, you're like, please, please, please. And, whatever, you're at their mercy. So they came up with 137 on this one. And that's the same appraiser that did this Rhodes property and appraised it low at 91,000.
Will they talk to you about like why, or they still get offended by that too?
Yeah, they don't like to talk. So they give you their appraisal report that has a bunch of pages to it, and it's got all the different comps that they use. They usually have to use 6, where we're just trying to use 3. So they're using more. So if you're having a hard time finding comps, you imagine they're having a hard time too. So they have to go back in time even more, or extend their search criteria where it's further out, or just the square footage is a little bit different. So, I mean, it's all those things end up coming up with them. And so maybe it helps or maybe it hurts, but regardless, yeah, they'll give you all of their work. They'll show you their work. They just don't want to hear about it.
That's fair.
Yeah, it's pretty hands off. And when they're there doing the appraisal, they really don't want you telling them what to do, or, hey, you should look at these ones. Or sometimes I'll do a sheet like this and I'll say, hey, I'm just trying to help you out. This is what we came up with in advance when we were buying. If these comps help you, then cool. And they're like, oh, thank you. They just put it underneath everything that they're doing and probably never look at it.
Whatever. Yeah.
Yeah. Right. They're like, who's this person think they are? They're obviously not an appraisal. Otherwise they would be me. They've got a little bit of God complex, kind of like the building inspectors too. It's like, whenever the building inspector comes through, you don't really want to tell them that they're wrong. Even if they're wrong, you don't want to tell them that they're wrong, because they can make your life a living hell, regardless if they're right or wrong. Doesn't matter what you know. It doesn't usually help you to fight them.
Does it help then that Paul is a certified home inspector?
So
that make it worse?
Should, from a building code standpoint, if you're trying to do something like that, or an appraisal standpoint, sure. But so an inspector is going to look at, from an appraisal standpoint, an inspector is going to look at everything that needs work. Well, everything should be fixed.
Yeah.
You don't want to point out anything that needs work. So that's where your husband would be real handy, is pointing out things that need work. You don't want to do that to an appraiser. Say, hey, you missed all these things because you didn't open these doors and look on the roof. Don't do that.
Yeah, no.
But what was the other one? So an appraisal or a county inspector. And a county inspector, sure, you might get some credibility like that, but they really don't like, they don't get excited to meet someone who knows as
Yeah.
much as them or more. They don't get excited about that. They're going about their day. They see a million houses. So they're just thinking, one more. Don't tell me what to do. Here's the process. This is what it should look like. I mean, as an architect, I know what the Ohio Residential Code says for things, but they don't want to hear any of that from me. They
Sure.
just don't. You
Yeah.
just do it right. You show them that, and explain something with the intent. And if they say, well, I would really like to see an extra bracket here or an extra something here, just say, oh yeah, I can put that in, don't worry. Want me to send you pictures after it's done? Right? Because how much effort does this little thing take to do versus just getting him upset, and then he's remembering remembering that property, and him thinking, man, maybe I drive by that property again to see if they're working on anything. You just you want to fly under the radar. At least that's how I do.
Yeah, I would too.
A lot of things. So yeah, so this Liberty one, that one is a little interesting how that one works out. And then this Tremont one, yeah, you didn't get this one going. This one, I'm curious what you found as well. I will put this in here just for your sake. It came back in at 138,000, the appraisal on this one.
Well, I'm going to go back and update all of them just based on the information for my own benefit.
Mm-hmm.
And you can send me any others or whatever. But then I can see if that, if I get close to that, it's kind of like knowing the answer beforehand, but that's okay. I could do it reverse.
Yeah. Well, so since I'm not going to give you that, yeah, you are knowing the answer ahead of time, but you're doing a lot of good work here. And just, I really want you to have that confidence, to get those steps in, if you will. And yeah, just get used to comping. And then it's nice. That's fine if you can just look over and look at the answer, and so yeah, you're going to be biased a little bit now that I told you that, but just try and think about it. Like we were looking at this Cuyahoga Falls property. You're looking for higher value, but then when there's some that are real high, you say, why are they real high?
Yeah.
Sometimes, just so when someone buys multiple properties, it can get recorded on one property as that bulk price.
Yeah, I saw that once.
You might see that and you're like, how the heck is something that 5 times the cost of all the other houses in there? It's because they were bought together, and it gets recorded on one. So don't get confused by those ones at the end of the day.
Okay.
But yeah.
All right. Well, I have to run to another meeting, but I'm going to go through, update these. So I'll let you know when I kind of do that, and you can send me any others that you have. And
okay. We'll keep going and keep learning. Yeah, that's wonderful. And then put that on your calendar for the meetup, because that just seems serendipitous that you'll be in the area. So why not?